You're listening to Barbell Logic, brought to you by Barbell Logic Online Coaching, where each week we take a systematic walk through strength training and the refining power of voluntary hardship.
Welcome to the Barbell Logic podcast. It's a question and answer Saturday. I'm Scott Hamburger. There's Matt. And today we have Mike Reed of Microgainz. You've heard us talk about Microgainz and microplates and why you need those things, and you do. And if you don't have them, it's because you're being macho and stupid. It's time that you get some. You know, when you get strong enough.
Even if you're a 67-year-old woman, you're being macho and stupid.
If you don't have them, you are.
No, I agree. I mean, I don't know how many 67-year-old women listen to our podcast, but...
Your mom.
Still.
Dude, your mom.
My mom does. That's true, but she's not quite 67. She's a little younger than that.
We're recording around dinner time, which is awful, because we normally record in the morning. And I was going to tell you, Matt, before the microphones heated up, but I'll do it now. Have you tried the Dickel bourbon that's
the barrel proof?
No, in the Tabasco barrels.
No. Oh, yeah, no, I did actually. They gave me a sample of it at the beer hall here in town, which is the people that own the Scotch and Soda. Yeah, it's way, way, way better than Fireball.
It's so good. It's it's bourbon, and it's probably actually it's not bourbon. I don't think it's in the barrel 3 years, but it's in there for a little while.
Sure.
And it's sweet, and it's got that Tabasco spice in it.
Yeah, I did have it. It is pretty good, and I hate that Fireball junk. So
it's almost like a liqueur almost. And it's not very. It's great, man. It's fun.
I've never seen it on the shelves. I only got it I mean, I don't know that I've looked for it on the shelf, but I haven't noticed it being on the shelf. Maybe it's not in the whiskey section.
No, it is where I go. I bought some of that today, and I bought some of your Mellow Corn.
Yeah, what'd you think of that?
I haven't cracked that open yet, and I bought those because I couldn't find 1792, and I couldn't find our Elijah Craig. And I couldn't find...
I bought some of both of those this week.
Yeah, I couldn't find any of the stuff I wanted.
That Mellow Corn makes it real good. You take the black walnut bitters, and you make a black walnut corny old-fashioned out of it this time of year.
Corny old-fashioned.
Or it's good you put a little apple cider in it. Pretty good.
My dad bought me some peanut butter bourbon.
That sounds disgusting.
It is not. It's like a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Where's the chocolate?
The bourbon has chocolatey notes.
Chocolate notes.
Quit shitting on my story.
I don't know what that means.
I'm telling you, it does.
Say there's chocolate. Like I get some chocolate notes in coffee, but I don't get much chocolate note in a bourbon. That seems weird.
It's delicious. It's a great one to get the kids started with. You know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's a good Thanksgiving family toast.
That's
version.
right. Well, let's answer a few questions, and then we'll talk to Mike a little bit. Poor guy, he's sitting down here.
We'll loosen up.
He's sitting down there.
Mike, this is what we do. When Scott and I record like 4 or 5 episodes, we always do Q&As first because it gives us a chance to loosen up. And then also, of course, we can say inappropriate things and Trent can cut them out.
It's a palate cleanser, really.
It's a palate cleanser. So you get rid of those chocolate notes.
You guys
on your
you guys can't see Mike, but he's kind of backlit, and it just makes his ginger hair it's iridescent almost. It's amazing. It's amazing.
He's very ginger. It's true.
Our 22nd female listener, Felicia, asks, what are your opinions on electrical muscle stimulation for recovery?
You asking me?
Felicia's asking everyone.
Yeah, I mean, man, I don't think there are not a lot of studies that show that it works real well. I think it's one of those things that goes into the... if it makes you feel good, it's okay to do. I don't have nothing wrong with it. But yeah, that's probably it, right? I mean, it's probably all kind of psychosomatic sort of stuff. We used to have a real Russian stim machine at Strong, and you could turn that thing up till you put your whole body in a cramp, and you're not supposed to have that. I think you're supposed to have a license for it. I don't know. We bought it off a chiropractor or something when we had it, but. Everybody else has these little like home machines, the little EMS machines, and they can't really go high enough to do anything.
Yeah.
So what I would do if I had one is I would just put it like on my erectors, and I would turn it all the way up. And if it put me in a full body cramp, it might be able to do something.
Yeah, we did a show with John Welborn where he talked about using that to to rehab a terrible muscle avulsion that he had.
Yeah.
And the big heavy duty ones seem to work. But the ones that you can buy at the CVS or online or the one that the CrossFit girl reps on Instagram is probably not going to be that effective, but it might make you feel okay.
Which is fine.
I
mean, look, you and I you got a nice sauna at your house. It's probably the same thing. Hot tubs, stuff like that. Like, I like that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it actually makes you recover.
Yeah, I don't know about that. So. Here's another Mike. He says, have you guys dealt with, or have you had any clients that dealt with ongoing hip flexor pain? Yep. I was curious to know if you guys know what could be causing it. And I understand you can't critique my form really without seeing me, but I was just wondering if this is a common thing that you see.
Yes.
Yes.
Really, if the question is, do you see problems with X joint? The answer is yeah.
Yeah.
We do.
Mike goes on to say that he's 5'10", 175 pounds, and 28 years old. And dude, you don't want to hear this, but if you eat some more food and wait a little more, your hip might not hurt.
Yeah. Although, I mean, he may have FAI, may have femoral acetabular impingement, real common. You basically get these little growths on your acetabulum on the cup portion of your pelvis where the hip goes in, where the femur bone goes in, and you'll get some bone spurs there. And that can cause some issues. But it also may just be an issue of you might just need to dig that area out. You might just have, there's a lot of times you just get soft tissue impingement there on that front side, that TFL, that tensor fascia latae muscle. When
I was heavier and before doing this program, I would get up in the morning and I would limp. My right hip hurt bad. And I went to the doctor, and they said, "Oh, you've got bursitis. You got this, you got that, whatever the heck it was." And I'd limp for an hour after getting out of bed in the mornings, or if I sat in an office chair for a couple hours, then got up to go get coffee or whatever, I would limp again. And squatting helped that. If you've got FAI, that may be a different animal, but chances are you don't, and your form is wonky, and your nutrition sucks, and it'll be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, if it hurts long term, I mean, the only thing that's really going to tell you whether you've got something wrong with it's an MRI. And just remember, you go get an MRI or any kind of imaging, the doctor's basically getting paid to tell you that something's wrong.
Oh, he's got boat payments to make.
Yeah, I mean, which is crazy, right? Because, I mean, it's just a lot of times just the guy that reads the MRI. It's not necessarily an orthopedic surgeon, but you're going there for an answer, and he's going to give you one. He's not going to go, MRI looks great. Hip is fine. He'll find something wrong with the thing, but,
Eat some food. Eat some food,
probably
dude.
Helps.
And go get a form check. Go to a real life coach and get a form check. Maybe sign up for online coaching. We know some people that do that. You could email them at experience@barbell-logic.com and maybe get a little help and see what the heck is going on there. We ain't doctors, but if your form looks like it could be causing you a problem, we might be able to line you out there. We got Mike here. He's just sitting here watching. He's just blinking. He's just blinking like the Spurg he is. And he owns Microgainz, and so he's one of these small business people that we love very, very much. And he's built this little business in this strange niche from nothing. What were you doing before you were making these plates, man?
I am a full-time realtor, retail grocery manager. So I work for a grocery chain out here in the Northeast. And what I was, right before I came up with the company, I was just following the starting strength kind of model myself. I used to be bigger into powerlifting, and I was getting stuck on the press and the bench, especially the press. I'm not a very big guy, so I was getting stuck adding those 5 pounds every week.
Are you a great big fat person?
I am a smaller guy.
That's my Buffalo Bill impression.
Here's my question. How is this guy so skinny if he runs a grocery store?
It's a lot of walking.
This makes no sense. I know, but I know that you're the guy that has access. Like the day that expiration date hits on the meat or the milk, you could take that stuff home for free. And it's still perfectly good.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different discounts and stuff that you see, but maybe not the same way that you think it would be for employees and stuff like that. But I probably do walk about 20,000 steps a day across the store. Yeah, it's heavy walking for sure.
That's crazy. So how'd you get into the fractional? So you were training this way, and you're like, I need fractional plates.
Yeah, exactly. It was too hard to go the overhead press for me to go up 5 pounds. I just kept on not getting the 5 reps. 3 sets of 5. 4 reps, 2 reps, 3 reps, 4 reps. Deloaded, went back up, and I was like, there's got to be something less than 2.5 pound plates. So just went to Amazon, Googled it or Amazoned it, and it came with different fractional plates. I thought they were kind of pricey. Pretty much everyone's made in China. And I was looking at the prices. I'm like, I can probably make these myself. So I went and seeked out a laser cutter and figured out the weights roughly and had them cut 25 of each size for me originally, quarter, half, 3/4, and 1 pound plates. And just 25, I was going to use them myself. And then I was going to maybe try to just sell a few on the side. Nothing big, anything like that.
So the very first set of fractional plates you ever bought were actually the fractional plates that you had made specifically for you, plus an additional 24 sets.
That is right. Yeah, it'd be like an additional. It's like additional 8 sets. Is like eight plates in the set.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Yep.
Yeah, yep. So yeah, the original sets, and they came just laser cut steel and just plain like steel silver color. And I took them into my shed in my backyard, and I hand painted them with one of those high velocity, low pressure guns. And then it was great because you have to paint one side, wait for it to dry, give it another coat, and then wait a little bit, flip it, and then paint it, and then clear coat it before you could actually finally bring it in. I just painted them black because I thought it was easy instead of going the multicolor, just one color on everything, save a little cost. And then I eventually got some stickers with a logo for Microgainz, and I put the stickers on the plates, and then I started selling them on eBay. Was my first platform. I didn't even have a website for a while. It took me one day to sell 2 sets to the same buyer, my first ever buyer, bought 2 sets at once.
Do you know their name?
I don't remember their name. I have to go back and look at it. But yeah, I was so excited. I was at the grocery store, and I remember I was in the bakery department, and I got the notification on my phone. Hey, buyer sold these items. You have to ship it. And I was so excited. It wasn't even just 1 set. It was 2 sets. I was like, wow, somebody believes in this already. So I was all excited, got home and packed it up and shipped it out. And then I just started to kind of go from there.
What year was that, or when was that?
That would have been 2017 in February.
Okay, so you're almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years,
Coming up on 3 years. Yep.
So that's how you start a business. All you guys are out there wringing your hands. I don't know how. You make 8 widgets. You don't even need a website. You sell them on eBay or Craigslist or Etsy. Don't need a website. Sell them to that first client. Let them use them a while. Call the client. How'd it go? What do you think? Blah, blah, blah. And then you start ramping up. Then you go spend a little time on a website and so on.
Didn't quit his day job.
Didn't quit the day job. Didn't borrow any money. Wait a minute.
That's right.
Did you have to borrow money to make those 8 sets?
No.
Didn't borrow money. Didn't borrow money.
It's good. We couldn't have you on the podcast if you did.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's important. I don't have any debt on the company now, so I try to cash flow everything. If I got to wait, I just wait to buy it.
As it should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know your employer is listening because, the world is listening.
Yeah.
How far out are you before you can quit the day gig?
I'd like to think I always think optimistically, but I'd like to think it's a year or so out, maybe less. Trying to, build up if you think about it, trying to build up a side business while you're working 50, 60 hours a week in retail for me, and then trying to build up a side business, only spending, say, 10, 15, 20 hours a week on it. You got to bring up your income to match your job you're working 60 hours on. So sure. It's challenging to do, definitely. And I've had to do a lot of things, sacrifice a lot of time, spend up a lot of nights late packing plates and waking up early and packing plates and things like that to make it happen.
Yeah, we've done
you still
that.
Ship all your own stuff.
I don't. I do and I don't. So Amazon is probably my biggest push. Okay. I ship to Amazon for Prime, and then they ship out for me. So I ship by the pallet to them of plates. But everything that's sold on eBay and my website is shipped by me personally.
So do they come in the same little box that you sent me when they come from Amazon as well? You just put a whole pallet of those boxes together?
That's right. Yep. Right. So that happens as my business scaled up, I now have a company that I send my plates to when they're done, and then they pack them for me, and then they ship them out for me.
Okay, nice.
And everything else I handle myself.
Okay, great. I love that little box that comes in. There's like little cardboard dividers, so your plates are protected. They're not banging against each other while they're shipping. Because you've seen your mailman. He's drop kicking it up your driveway. So, so you get all the weight. So you have both 8 plate sets and 10 plate sets. Is that right? If I remember correctly.
That's right. After I started the original 8, the quarter, half, 3/4, 1, I also started selling a 1.25 pound plate right after that. And it's probably my most popular size as a 2 set.
Yeah, for a 1.25, you're going to use that more than anything else. And I mean, here's the crazy thing I've noticed, Scott. I don't know if you've had this with your clients. I am surprised at the number of clients I have that go to a gym, a Globo gym type place, and they don't have 2.5s.
I know.
5s are the smallest plates, and so I'm like, just buy a set from Mike, and then you can put your micro plates together. You can put your fractional plates together and get your 2.5s out of that, right? So you got enough weight to get that. But I'm amazed that people are like, yeah, 5s are the smallest, so you can only go up 10 pounds. How ridiculous is that?
Yeah.
Can you imagine having some like 50-year-old lady and all they have is 45-pound bars and 5-pound plates are the small? So she has to, first off, it takes her 6 months to press a 45-pound bar, if ever. And then you're like, hey, congratulations on the 45. Now it's time for 55. It's just like, I can't. She gets it for 0 reps. It's ridiculous.
These places, they're not about helping people get strong.
No, of course not.
Hammering those checks. They want to make it just inconvenient enough that you don't come, but just cheap enough you don't cancel.
You don't leave.
It's gross.
That's exactly right.
It's gross.
Yep.
Got any other products coming?
So I also do the dumbbell microplate, which you guys have seen before. So that's something that's pretty unique to Microgainz. It's something I developed right whenever I started the company, same time. And that is a product that clamps onto the handle of about 99% of all dumbbells. So you can add weight to your dumbbell, which is pretty hard to do if you don't have Microgainz, I guess, because dumbbells go up by 5s, as you guys know. So if you have a 45 and you're trying to do bicep curls, 245s, it takes a long time to get to 50 or 65, 70, 75, like without going up. You're just going to plateau and just never, ever lift it. So I sell them in 3 sizes too, 0.5 pound, 1 pound, and 1.25 pounds. You can jump up there too.
I use those all the time, both here at the house and in programming for my clients. I like if I have clients that go to a gym that has dumbbells, a lot of times I like using dumbbells, but a lot of people train at home and dumbbells are expensive, so they often don't have them. But if they do, I'll often use those as accessory movements. And that's another one where, like, I had a girl this morning. She can press the 25s seated overhead for 1,000,000 reps, and she can take the 30s and get it for 3. And I'm like, oh, get the 25s, put Mike's fractional dumbbell plates on there, and make it 27.5, and it changes everything. All of a sudden, that's the right weight for her. And so we love those. Those are fantastic. They come with they're kind of big, heavy rubber bands that are on it, and you ship some extra rubber bands with it. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So here's what I need you to make. Are you ready, Mike? I'll wait for you to get a piece of paper.
Okay. Gotcha.
Quiet chains.
Quiet chains.
Like rubber dip chains.
Whatever.
Whatever.
However you want to do it.
You just chains are just too loud. It just makes it's like sensory overload for your little autistic head.
Well, people need chains.
Sure.
And you can buy them from Rogue, and they're $6.5 million, or you can buy them from Titan, and they're $1.5 million. And I think there needs to be another place to get them other than every town has a place called like Philadelphia Chain,
right,
and Hoist or Tulsa Chain.
Right.
Other than going to that place.
Yep.
There needs to be somebody else to do it. And then you have to
differentiate.
The problem about that so if they were coated,
that's right,
and didn't tear your bar up and were quiet, there's a niche. I think that you could make some nylon ones, actually like some nylon, it's like toe strapping,
right.
And you could, put 2.5 pound plates or something, hang them on there. So you could change the weight of the strap.
Yeah. It wouldn't actually have to be chain.
Right.
Yeah. That's actually a really good idea.
Hey, thanks, man.
There you go.
Hey, that's a free one, Mike.
Idea.
You can have it. Now, this is going to go out on the podcast, so the fucking clock's running. There's somebody in China right now.
Hey, what do you have coming up? What do you have coming up for the holidays? What do you have planned for the holidays? And also, because they have to hear us talk about it all the time, let's talk a little bit about the discount that you give Barbell Logic listeners as well. Give out that discount code, since this will live forever on the. Yeah. So you can't ever shut it down now once you say it.
I know. Now it's got to stay permanent.
Yeah, rather than being these dynamic ads, it's like,
I'll delete the fucking episode.
Right.
Like if it goes bad with Mike.
That's right.
It goes south. I know. I'm gonna have to shut off the coupon code. If you listen to this podcast and you use code LOGIC, you can get 10% off your entire order. So no restrictions. Anything you want, 10% off. And I think I've gotten a lot of people to use it. I think it gets people excited to get in there on the web. It pushes people on my website, and they can get if they want the dumbbell plates, if they want the regular fractional plates for barbells. I got those several things on there, and I got a little bit of apparel as well if you want a Microgainz t-shirt or something like that.
Excellent. So go to microgainz.com.
I want some Microgainz underwear.
That's
That'd be
where it's
cool.
just embroidered on the sack.
That'd be awesome.
something to come out with in the future.
Yeah.
That'd be a hot seller for the holidays.
Yeah.
Could be for Christmas. Yeah. That's for Christmas. I ought to do like a ornament or something like that for a tree, like a fractional plate, quarter pound, hang it on
That'd
your
be
tree.
cool.
Something like that. Something a little gimmicky, I guess.
That's a great idea. You could paint it green with like little red holly berries on it.
Like a little wreath.
Just hanging on your Christmas tree.
Like a little wreath.
Yeah.
There you go.
So go to Microgainz, Gainz, to go buy these things. And you should buy these. That nephew of yours that fucks around in the garage and isn't quite getting it right, you can buy a set for him, a husband, a coworker, whatever. They're the nicest plates. They're the nicest plates. They come in the little sack.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the way the packaging is. It's a perfect stocking stuffer gift. It's the right price for a stocking stuffer. It's the right size for a stocking stuffer. And it's also super practical. It's way better than the pair of ridiculous wool socks you're going to get, your nephew. Get him some Microgainz instead.
Yeah, he's got the little bag, so you don't have to carry it in the Crown Royal sacks. Everybody knows you're an alky. It's perfect. So go get
That's what
these.
we did for years before Microgainz is we just put our fractional plates in Crown Royal bags.
I put mine in a tube sock. And I just carry them out in the parking lot, and if anybody say anything to me, I just
keep it in the floorboard of your car.
Yeah, just blackjack them with some microplates and a tube sock.
So they're multi-purpose.
Yeah,
they are. I want to say too that they are made in America, which is something that is unique to microplates. All of them are made in China, pretty much. All my competitors, except for maybe Rogue. So they are made 10 minutes from my house in Pennsylvania at a pressed metal factory vision quality components. So 10 minutes from the house, I can go and check them out, and then they actually get painted or e-coated in a town about 40 minutes away, and they get packaged in a town about 30 minutes from my house. And then the boxes that you guys were talking about are also made in a town about 35 minutes from my house.
Whoa! Even the boxes.
Even the boxes. Yep.
But wait a minute, you're supposed to be a greedy bastard and put a bunch of people across the Pacific to work so you can make 3 more shekels.
Right, no. Exactly. I think that the made in the USA is important for sure. Definitely supporting local business. So,
they're also super accurate in weight, right?
That's right. They are, since they're made out of like powder metal, sintered metal. They're accurate to within 5 grams of their stated weight, which is something you can't even feel in your hand. So very accurate, calibrated, if you want to call them that.
5 grams is like a paper clip.
Exactly. Yep.
Or a whole bunch of cocaine.
Yeah, that's that
Whatever.
too.
Oh,
either one.
Those guys that work nights at the grocery store, they know. We got a question here from Clint.
We're going to throw it to Mike.
Well, if we have any equipment questions, we're going to throw them to Mike, or grocery questions,
or groceries,
or packaging, or manufacturing. But
how much do you know about? Hold on, before you get to this question, how much do you know about all of the foods that you sell at this grocery store? I mean, are you like an expert at beef and or dairy products or bakeries or whatever?
I mean, I understand. Probably not. I mean, I can identify any packaged good pretty much because we have 40, 50, 60,000 items. I don't personally cut meat, although we have that in our store.
Oh, I do.
Oh, Scott's been cutting meat since he was 13.
So, I mean, I'm involved in those processes. I'm involved in the produce department and bakery and things like that.
But if I said, what is the best cut of meat for the money, you're like, you wouldn't necessarily know that.
Not necessarily. I mean, we run sales all the time too. So in the summer, it could be a porterhouse steak because it's $6.99 a pound or something like that.
$6.99 a pound for a porterhouse steak.
Yeah, I mean something like that.
That's ridiculously cheap. I'll tell you what the best cut of meat is for the money. Do you know, Scott Hamburg?
I give up.
It's a Chuckeye. Ever heard of a Chuckeye? Freaking great. Chuckeyes are amazing. They're like a ribeye, but they're like $4 a pound less. By the way, I went and bought tenderloin a couple weeks ago we have one of these really nice big chain grocery stores it's new, and it's, there's like there's like Japanese people behind the corner, like behind the counter actually making sushi, and there's like
How dare you?
9 feet down, there's Latinos making actual like tortillas. I mean, for real. You're like, oh gosh, it's like it's being at Epcot. You're like going around the world, you know. And I go to buy tenderloin, and it's like $16 a pound, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. So we went to get. Oh no, contraire. The tenderloin was priced by the 8 ounce. So I got up to, after they had cut all this meat and put it in the package, wrapped it in the butcher paper, I checked out. It was like $72.
I would have left it.
And I was like, what is going on? And they were like, oh, I know I should have. I feel bad.
You panty waste.
I
should have thrown it.
Bought it. Good. I was like, what?
Should have been slinging that beef up there.
$16 for 8 ounces? First off, who prices meat by the 8 ounce?
Never heard of that.
That's bullcrap. And it was only. And then when I went back and looked at the counter the next time, the tenderloin is the only one that's like that. Unacceptable.
Yeah.
Unacceptable, Hy-Vee. You hear me?
Hy-Vee. Don't go back to Hy-Vee.
That's right. Putting you guys on blast. Not happy about it. Except for Tim, the manager of the alcohol section at Hy-Vee. He's a friend of mine. He hooks me up. So, Tim, you're okay. We're good. But that other guy, the butcher, not okay in my book.
I'm seeing more and more of these 375 milliliter bottles, by the way, for like 750 milliliter prices.
Right.
But back to this Clint guy.
Clint.
This is supposed to be a question and answer show.
I heard.
He's from Australia, and he says, just found the pod and a huge fan. Thank you. He says, 36 years old, 5'4", 79 kilos. So let's convert that to the Queen's units, 174 pounds.
But he's 5'4".
Yeah. That's probably all right.
Yeah, it's fine.
He's squatting 155 kilos.
Okay, that's strong.
Not too bad. Oh, he just got 200 as a low bar. He's 4 days on. He says 4 days, 4 nights, 8 off. I don't know what that means. It's swing shift stuff.
Yeah, like he literally works 4 straight days, 4 straight nights, like he's a fireman. Yeah, doesn't leave for 4 straight days, and then he has 8 days off.
Yeah,
that's what he's asking.
How would you suggest he structure his training program? Program with 2 M's and an E on the end, because he's from Australia.
Correct. Right. Okay, so you're 4 days on, days and nights. So I assume you can't train. I'm assuming he's not a fireman or something where he can actually train.
He doesn't say what he's doing.
Because, a lot of those sort of swing shifts like that, they actually have a gym there. So if you don't have a gym.
Yeah, because they're not really doing anything.
Right. Then obviously you're just going to have to get in as many sessions as you can in your 8 days. Right. So I would probably train 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off. That's 6, 2 days on.
What?
Did I do that right? Yeah. I go 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 4 days off to work. 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, right?
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Mike, does this make sense to you?
Yeah, Mike's shaking his head yes. Mike, you have to say something. You can't just shake your head yes. They can't see your face.
It's right. He has 4 days off, so that's his 4 rest days, right? So it makes sense. He has 8 days. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. That's 8 days.
Right? So he works 4 straight days, like 24-hour shifts, 4 times in a row. So he obviously can't train during that time. And then he has 8 whole days
shifts. And then he works 4 night shifts, and then he's off for 8 days.
Wait a minute. If that's the case, then my answer is you should quit your job. Why would someone work 4 day shifts in a row and then 4 night shifts in a row? That's a terrible job.
Yeah, my brother-in-law works something very, very similar to that.
Wow. How would you ever sleep?
Yeah, they call that, I think that's the one they call the Pont Schedule or something like that. Manufacturing environments and production environments, they'll do that stuff. I don't get it. I don't understand why they do.
I don't know. I'll tell you what. What's this guy's name?
I already deleted it.
Okay, guy that works that shift. If you'll email experience@barbell-logic.com and you'll ask for me, I'll have Miss Berman forward me your email. I'll actually look at your schedule and I'll lay you out a split because it's just too damn complicated. Otherwise, I can't figure it out.
I think he could probably do a 4 day split where he does 2 of the days during his day shift time.
Yeah,
1 of them during the night shift time, and then one of them right when his off period starts, And then he could probably cram another 4-day deal into the remaining 7 days of his thing.
Right.
Something like that. It's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be terrible. But
So it's basically he works 8 days on, 8 days off. But the 8 days on that he has is the first half is day shifts and the second half is night shift.
yeah, it's always gonna be a mess. Poor guy.
Wow. That would be awful. That would be awful. I'm trying to think if I would rather do that or be a junior high teacher.
I
Which
do
I
what he
was
does.
for 10 years.
Derek says, Derek, he's got his last name here, and then after that it says RRT, like some sort of a credential or something. I don't know what that means. Is that registered respiratory therapist?
Maybe.
I don't know what that means. But he's 45 years old. He's 5'10". He weighs 190 pounds. He says his right leg is 1 3/8 inch shorter than his left leg.
That is a massive difference.
That's a big one as a result from a car wreck.
Oh, okay. That's why.
I now wear a 1-inch build up on my right shoe to keep my hips closer to alignment. Even walking around the house without my lifted shoe can cause my lower back to hurt.
Sure.
I bet that's true. With all that said, what do you recommend that I use during my squats? Should I use my daily lifted shoes? Should I lift a pair of squat shoes? Is there an option I don't even know about?
No. Option 2. Lift your squat shoes for sure. 100%.
You bet.
Very easy. Go to a cobbler. They can do those easy. They're going to add that extra. And I would add what do you say, 1 3/8?
Yeah. Inch and 3/8.
I'll do all 1 3/8, man. Get it all.
Go buy the Rogue Classic Do-Win. It has a stacked leather heel, and your shoe guy in your town can just stack some more leather on there. It'll look good. It'll be rock solid. It won't even be a compromise.
No.
That's a good
great.
deal. Go get that, man. You'll be happy. You'll be real happy with that.
He reminds me of our good friend Mel there in Tulsa. Mel's just the most asymmetrical human that's ever lived because he's been in.
He's like,
all
I got
sorts of
4
different-
toes on one foot. I got 6 on the other. One of my legs is
He's
short.
like, I was riding a bicycle and got hit at 65 miles an hour by an 18-wheeler.
Yeah, poor Mel. Mel and I go eat at JJ's about every other week.
What?
It's a big deal. Oh yeah.
JJ's still open?
Yeah, he's still open, man.
He just can't do it. He can't shut it down.
Yeah, he's got some people that want to buy the property, but he really wants to sell the whole thing, the property and the business. He wants that business to stay alive, and it's a great business, but that property
is worth a bunch of
it's
money.
worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
And he's kind of torn. He's 78, and he's curmudgeonly, and he won't admit that he likes it.
Right. Hey, on a side note, while you're talking about like where to work, Mike, I see your office and I see pictures of it. Is this in your house? Where do you work?
Yeah, this is in my house. It's in my basement. It's sort of like, it was probably like a closet, I think. And it's just big enough that I do all of my Microgainz stuff out of this little spot in here. Yep.
It's got the corrugated tile ceiling, so it looks like an actual office space, you know?
It's good.
Yeah. Now I'm actually in my house, so.
Yeah, I assumed it was. It was just, we don't have, everybody has a basement here, but nobody has ceilings like that here. Just weird.
Oh, it's like a drop ceiling.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Edward says, Matt, he sends us directly to you. What?
Well, obviously. He sends it to the professional.
Edward says, Matt.
Subject matter expert. This will be about buttholes or bidets, just guarantee you.
He says, I've been accessing your content for some time. What?
Specifically my content.
Well, what is accessing? And do you listen to it, or you just?
What's amazing is how many pieces of content have I ever put out that were only me.
Right. That's okay.
There's like 4 pieces of content, and then 10,000 pieces of content that were done by people
Edward,
that I collaborated with.
Thanks for sending this in. He says, I've been accessing your content for some time, and I find it an excellent info source. Could you do a video on the inclined bench press if you find this accessory lift of any value? I'd be interested both. This guy's syntax is weird. Let me fix this. Let me clean this up. I'd be interested in both the programming and the bench and or rack setup and safety in this lift if you were to do a video.
Okay.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. I don't do incline bench press because it hurts my shoulders. And I think we've talked about this on the show before. I think it's very easy to fall into a little bit of a trap as a coach to be sort of discriminate against lifts that you don't like or that hurt you. So I don't program them very often. Now, I've programmed them more lately. I will program them for people who really can't, like literally cannot overhead press because they've got major like rotator cuff issues. We'll try them. We'll try incline press. I was like, well, let's see if incline press feels okay. And if they do, then I'm like, well, that's fine. Then we'll do that as another movement. I like an incline press. I tend to like it with a little lower incline. So if you think about something in the middle will be 45 degrees. I tend to actually like it lower. Now, if I'm trying to make and that would be
like 15
as an accessory
degrees,
move.
20?
No, 15's, 30 probably, even 30 degrees, somewhere there. If I'm in, and then I'm going to use it mostly as an accessory movement for the bench press or a supplemental movement for the bench press. And obviously, the lower it gets, the more specific it is to the bench press. Whereas the opposite is true if you're trying to use it for the press. So then, for people who are using it as a what's the word I'm looking for? They're replacing the press with it, right? In lieu of the press, they're going to do the incline press. They're going to try to be more vertical than 45 degrees. So 60 is more where you would want to be. The key with an incline press is that you have to touch higher. So you end up touching way up by the collarbones. You can't touch down at the bottom of your sternum. It's too much. It's over rotation on your shoulders. It'll screw your shoulders up. But if you'll touch high, it works a little better. And you can let your elbows, because you're touching high, and because you're already at that angle, you can let your elbows flare out a little more. So you don't necessarily want to tuck your elbows closer to your ribs. Elbows go out, touch higher on your, kind of collarbone. And that's a good way to do the incline press. And then you can just set up the safeties. A lot of times what people do, I don't know, most of my clients just take their regular bench press and they put it on top of their box squat box. Is that safe? Probably not. I don't know. So now I know that Rep Fitness makes a tremendous incline bench, and I think it's called like the zero gap incline bench. So it has no gap between that top pad and the bottom pad. So if you're going to do an incline bench press, you should just do that. The thing's cheap; it's like $200 or less. Yeah. And they're great people up there. So that's what I would use, and then you just set the safeties inside your rack, just like you would with a bench press. So if you get down there,
like
and you can't
armpit high.
Armpit high, just 2 inches below, like where you would actually touch on your collarbone, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, if you're not doing incline at 350, propping your bench up on a plyo box or on a stack of pads is probably okay.
Yeah.
If your platform's not real slick, you don't want that bottom leg of that bench shooting out from under you, but you'll be all right, man.
Yep.
Let's see here. We got another one here. It says, Jimmy says, I have been going to my chiropractor for many months now for preventative maintenance. Stop. There you go.
It's about as good as your
he goes on
EMS.
And stop going to see the guy. He's not preventing anything except for you're saving money. Chuck
He's
says,
preventing your savings account growing.
That's right.
Mike, your wife isn't like a chiropractor or anything, is she?
She is not, no.
Okay, good. Just checking.
Okay.
She doesn't manipulate bones for a living.
No, she does teach yoga. So.
For fuck's sake. All right. Well, she's limber. Good for you. It's a win. Eric says, whatever happened to Shane and Logan? You remember Shane? Shane's the young man from the early episode that was deadlifting and was scared of the deadlift. And we told the story about him.
Yep. And you talked to him
and his brother training. Yeah, Shane and Logan trained hard that summer and went back to school. And then they didn't train with me anymore. I don't know what they're doing. Their mom worked with me at data storage, and of course I'm out of touch with all those people, and I haven't heard anything from them. They're good
ex
kids.
Parte, I heard they actually had an ex parte out. Everyone that had previously worked for you at data storage, I heard you're not allowed to come within 500 yards.
Right. Well, that's self-imposed.
That's not true. Sorry, everybody.
That is self-imposed. I don't know. They're good guys, and I hope they're doing well. I hope they're lifting, but I haven't heard. But they didn't work with me for more than about 90 or 100 days, something like that.
Hey, we're at 40 minutes. Can I tell you a little story to wrap up this episode? Because it's funny. I've been wanting to tell you.
Okay.
So my brother's on a business trip the other day. My brother owns a big insurance software company. So he flies first class business. He's very he is not an outgoing guy on an airplane. Super nice guy. Actually way nicer than me, much more likable than me. But airplane's time to get work done, right? So you sit in, get on your seat. And the thing about first class people is they tend to not want to visit either, right? Like you don't tend to get the talkers on first class. So he's in there, puts in his earbuds, right? And he's working on his computer. He's sitting next to this guy, not even paying any attention. This guy next to him leans over to him, bumps him, and Chris pulls out an earbud. He's like, the guy behind you He's a very famous baseball player, Hall of Famer. And my brother, who has never been a sports fan, played sports, was a pretty good athlete, but not a sports fan, turns around and Chris is like, okay, real good looking, sharp dressed, black man, nice suit, great looking guy. Chris is like, who is that? Guy looks familiar. The guy sitting next to my brother says, it's Kenny Lofton. And Chris is like, oh, I remember Kenny Lofton. Like, okay, yeah, that's really cool. Chris goes back to work for a second, and then he goes, hold on. And he goes, sir, are you a famous baseball player? And the guy goes, well, yes, sir, I am. He goes, how famous? He goes, you're the only guy on the plane who doesn't know who I am. And my brother goes, he goes, Reggie Jackson. My brother's like, oh man, Reggie Jackson, it's great, sir. Nice to meet you, And so my brother sat next to Reggie Jackson, and no clue who he was. He said Reggie Jackson then proceeded to talk about himself for the next 2-hour plane ride. Showed him every single picture on his phone, pictures of his cats, pictures of his own Gulfstream little jet, Mr. October. And my brother's like, why is this guy flying commercial? Not sure what's going on here. But it said Mr. October, because at first I thought, I was like, he doesn't own that plane, and he might not. But anyway, said he was a super nice guy. Then at the end, he was like, he gave him the whole, accepted the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ as your, and my brother's like,
we're cool.
Yep. He's like, now you got to be praying every night. And he went into this whole like, now you got to say your prayers every night. That's what you got to do. Yes. He's like, okay, thank you, Mr. October, sir. And so, yeah, that was brother rode next to Reggie Jackson. No idea. I just loved it because
I wouldn't know.
Something about my brother said, he was like, I feel like the guy next to me looks familiar. And so when he said, are you a famous baseball player? He's like, yes, sir, I am. So then the whole lead up is he obviously told my brother, so my brother would end up asking him, right? So he wasn't like, hey, here's Kenny Lofton sitting behind us. He was like, also, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, guess who I am, Mr. October.
I would just be like, I'm busy. I'm busy, man.
Yeah. Except you've heard the story about the Tom Segura story and Mike Tyson. When Tyson... Tom, that would be a cool guy to ride next to on an airplane.
I'd be
Mike
scared.
Tyson.
I'd be scared.
I'd be terrified, but that'd be a great
I'd ask
story.
for another seat.
No way.
Yeah,
I bet that ride has made Tom Segura a whole bunch of money.
Yeah,
because that's one of his most famous stories. So anyway, all right, that's my story.
I'd be like, Mr. Jackson, do you know who I am? Yeah, whatever. There's the Barbell Logic podcast. Right? You can send your questions to questions@barbell-logic.com, and you ought to. And when you do, include your age, your height, and your weight, and your sex.
Those things are all good.
Yeah, we need those things. They're a big help. About a third of these, I have to email the questioner and say, well, how tall are you? How old are you? And so send that in with those. And, by the way, go to iTunes and leave some reviews. We've had a raft of reviews, and we're 2 off of 800.
Really?
We're 2 off of 800. I was looking through the other day. I was looking through the other day, and we have, let me see here. Well, go send those reviews. Go to iTunes, give us a 5-star review, and then pass the show on to one of your buddies. That's a big help to us, and it seems to get us a little boost in the iTunes recommendations algorithm, which is a black box and nobody understands. But I was doing a little research, Matt Reynolds, and we have an overall rating of 4.8 stars.
Okay, good, solid.
It's the same as the Joe Rogan Experience, and higher. It's higher than This American Life, Serial, Art of Manliness, WTF with Mark Maron, The Tim Ferriss Show.
Amazing.
That's right.
That's awesome.
So they're mostly 5 stars, and there's a few 1 stars, and they're mostly about me. And I have
I was going to say, I'd be 495 if Scott wasn't on the show.
So, I actually have a synopsis of negative Hamburg feedback at scotthamburg.com. You can go and enjoy those.
I was going to say, are you're going to post that on your website? scotthamburg.com?
Yeah. So, would you like me to read a few?
That last one you read was awesome. You should read just that last one that you read to me.
So listen to this guy.
It's so good.
It's Early episodes are better. 4 stars for Matt and the different guests. There's a lot of great discussions and knowledge there. 1 star for Scott. He thinks he's hot snot on a silver platter, but he's just a cold booger on a paper plate. I had to unsubscribe due to his attitude and opinions. He talks like an old baby boomer
Hot
lady.
snot, but instead he's a cold booger on a paper plate. That's great.
Yeah, I actually know who this guy is. He said he
That's a great
unsubscribed.
line.
And hey,
He's listening.
yeah, fuck you. And if he unsubscribed, it's not going to bother him, guys. So all of you guys that listened to who didn't type that, it doesn't matter. But he didn't unsubscribe. I guarantee you he heard that.
He's still listening.
His face is
notes.
hot right now.
He's
His face is hot and his heart rate went up. But nobody listens to you. You know, there was a story, there was a saying, they said, you know, you never pick a fight with somebody who buys ink by the barrel.
Right.
Don't pick a fight with people who are on 3 podcasts for 5 hours a week.
Right. Who have really pretty good ratings at this point.
Yeah, don't do that.
Couple 100,000 downloads a month. You're like,
Yeah, especially when their IQ is like 40 points higher than yours. They've got a bullhorn and like 2 standard
That's why
deviations
I have Hamburger on
on
the
you.
show, because I need somebody that's got 40-point higher IQ than me. Also, I was going to say, you got to go to Microgainz, get your plates, get both your fractional plates for your barbells and your dumbbell fractionals for your dumbbells. Use discount code LOGIC, saves you 10% off anything. Don't just go on there and buy a T-shirt, buy some plates, and then buy the T-shirt, and then wear the T-shirt to the gym, and then when other people are like, what's that? You can be like, these cool little things, and then you can give them the LOGIC discount code. We don't make anything off that, right? I don't want to say we do and then don't. Like, we don't make anything off that discount code, so it's not like we have an affiliate deal that every time, you know, it's like we get a $5 kickback every time. Mike just does it because he likes you guys. He's a supporter of the show. He does support the show, and he has supported the show for some time. We're thankful for it, but yeah, we'd love, he just wants to be able to help out our listeners and our clients at Barbell Logic. So thanks for listening.
Hey, come back and talk to us Monday. We'll be talking more about lifting. It's going to be a continuation of our Getting Started program. So come to that, and you guys have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you guys.